I recently saw a movie. The founder had actually watched it 2 years ago also. I watched it on a Sunday evening, and it's about Ray Kroc and how he scales up the McDonald's franchisee. Very interesting quote keeps on appears at the start of the movie, at the end of the movie, and I'll quote it. It's actually not the quote from the movie. It's from a person called as Calvin Coolidge. So he says that nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent won't. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful man with talent. Genius won't. Unrewarded genius is practically a cliche. Education won't. The world is full of educated fools. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent, all powerful. And this quote is like he is literally the only thing which works in his favor. He is like 55-year-old salesman trying to sell his like shaking machines, multi shaker for making milkshakes, etc. Things are not working out for him. But when once he sees the McDonald's restaurant, the speedy system, the way he perseveres, the way he meets them again and again, the way he scales up the franchisee. So that movie proves that how using just persistence and determination, he created one of the largest food franchisees, one of the largest restaurant franchisees, one of the most, they own the most iconic real estate in almost all the major cities in the world. That is the McDonald's. That is the power of determination and persistence. I'll quote three stories from my own life. They are all real stories, as I've already told you in this entire graphy. The first story is around when I started off in an academy. So views were not growing, they were good, but they were not great. And I was in Labasna, I was doing training of IS from 9 to 6. I really worked hard after 6 p.m. on my content, on my delivery. How can I engage? I was not like this 5 6 years ago. I was very shy. I was afraid of talking in public. I was very monotonous, very boring. Couldn't engage with people. I worked really hard on my content, on my delivery, the way I talk. I took a lot of feedback from comments, gave hours and hours and days to hone my skills, kept persevering, kept persisting, kept it was an absolute determination. No matter what happened, I worked really, really hard on it. Even if the training was very gruesome in Labasna, I made sure that I came back and I gave like 6 hours at least every single day on working on the an academy. I was working constantly. So most of the toppers, they usually create 4 or 5 videos and then they go or they write 2 3 blogs. So there is no persistence there. So results don't come, and for them the struggle is simply not worth it. I made sure, and my other co-founder Gaurav, he was there in that at an academy. He also ensured that I made two videos a day, 2 videos a week, every single week for 1 year. So for 52 weeks straight, at least, sometimes I made more, but I ensured at least, no matter how sick I am, how tired I am, I would ensure that I would make at least 2 videos a week. That was a guarantee from my end that would always go out on YouTube channel. And eventually views tremendously grew. It was an exponential growth. Results came, and it was absolutely amazing to see that in action. So that was the first story where I really pursued, whether I was on Bharat Darshan, whether I was sick, whether I was traveling, I always made sure that I made 2 videos a week. It doesn't matter whether I was in Kerala or Kashmir. It was always the persistence and determination to produce two high quality videos every single week. It doesn't matter whether I had exams in Lavasna or I was in my hometown or whatever I was doing, I always ensured I did that. Second example is actually when Gaurav and I were starting out, like in 2014, he onboarded me, and I started teaching on an academy. So he was absolutely persistent in his approach in talking to me almost every single day. He used to call me, he used to meet me. He made sure that whenever he was in Delhi, he would meet me, or like during my Bharat Darshan, he used to meet me in all the cities. I've learned a lot from him. He's one of the main reason of the growth of the organization, my personal growth. The way he constantly called me, his perseverance, he always showed me the bigger vision, the bigger picture about what an academy as an organization can achieve. He pitched me the idea of an academy. We even traveled together in the time of June, July, August 2014. At that time, it was really amazing. Whenever I was like in Bharat Darshan, whenever I was in Chennai or Kolkata, he always used to come there. He used to meet me in each and every single city during those 2 months. All the major cities used to come. We used to do meetings. We used to plan up how what more things we can do for an academy. His persistence was there every single day or almost every single day. He kept on calling, kept on pushing, kept on nudging me. And with 1 years of constant meetings and idea exchanges, with a lot of nudges, lot of pushes, I left IS in 2015 and we started an academy in 2015. So this is another example where leaving IS is considered as a huge deal in India, but with his constant persistence, he made sure that I was ready when the time was ripe, and that's how an academy started 4.5 years ago, and today it's the leading educational platform in the country. The third incident is when I cracked IS. So I was as a student, Mrunal, and I learned through his blogs in 2011, 2012, watched his videos also in 2013. When I cracked the exam in 2014, so he got in touch with me for an interview on, like, usually people get in touch with in toppers, like how you cracked that exam, which books did you read, and so on and so forth. So I tried a lot to convince him when I left IS so that he can teach on an academy. I messaged him multiple times, I called him, I stayed in touch with him for a period of 3 to 4 years, starting from 2015 to entire 2016, entire 2017, entire 2018. Every other week, every month, I make sure that I called him, I messaged him, I was in touch. Whenever he messaged me, I replied. So it took me 2 to 3 years of constant talking, following up, calls, video calls, chats, whatever I could do. I somehow convinced him to come to Bangalore in November 2018. I still remember that. And then after a 2-day period where we talked a lot, we discussed the vision of an academy. Gaurav and I showed him the larger picture. And after a 2-day of meetings, negotiations, we finally struck a deal, and he agreed to teach on an academy on 17th November 2018. You can see in this pic that Gaurav, me and Mrunal are there, and that is 17th November 2018, almost 1.5 years ago. Finally, his course was launched, and he started off as an educator on an academy. But it took me 3 to 4 years of persistent effort. 3 to 4 years of persistent effort, constant follow-ups. People give up if someone doesn't return their call once or twice, someone doesn't reply to them in a positive way. They give up in 1 month, 2 months, maximum 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 1 year. Here is an example, real life example of how for 3 to 4 years I was constantly in touch with him, and not just him. There are a lot of other educators who I get in touch, and then we try to build a professional relationship. It takes 3 to 6 months to close some deals. Some great talent are hired like that at an academy. Whenever they go out of their organization, they approach us. So we always ensure that we are not lacking in our effort, and it's a persistent effort over a period of 3 to 6 months which have yielded all these results. So take note of these 3 stories and realize the importance of persistence. Whatever you want to achieve in life, if you are an entrepreneur, it will take a lot of persistent efforts over a period of years and decades before you become successful. So in this chapter, we just learned the importance of persistence, but you cannot persist if people don't talk to you. So in the next chapter, we are going to understand the importance of not burning bridges with people and how to have amicable relationship even when you're not working with them. Stay tuned.